Hello everyone and welcome to another I Pick My Butt video, more Survivor.io, and Chapter 74, finally a fun one that I actually enjoyed. Now I will say this was not my first run, this was actually my second run, and I went in with a little bit more planning on it, but enemies in this are extremely tanky, including the bosses themselves. Now before we get too far into this chapter, I do want to just talk about a quick little thing here, which I've been seeing it all over the place, and I have talked about it before, and that's the whole catnips and Tsukiyomi thing. You know, really, we need to have these things introduced to the game again. At least give players the option to purchase them. Or, you know, find another way to get them for free. I was even thinking, you know, show them up in the Battle Pass again. And you know what? If you already have them and you get them again, take the Call of Duty effect on it. Give them some sort of cool skin for it. You know, make it gold. You get 3 of them. Now he's this plasma color. You know, just a little bit of idea. There's a lot of directions to go with this. But it really is unfair to all those players out there that, you know, got hats, got gowns, and just can't do anything with them. Yeah, they're all cosmetics, but still, we should be able to give the option for people to have those. There's a million different ways that they could find to go and just throw them out there, give the option, and from a revenue point, a lot of people want them. They'll probably pay for them, at least maybe 25% of them if I had to take a guess on it, but I'm not a fan of these heroes, really. You see me playing with common here, but I think it's something that definitely needs to get added in here, especially seeing how there's only 8 days left on this battle pass, and there is time for them just to say, hey, you want to buy them? Here you go. The other thing that I see a lot of too, and I think really is a good idea given how the drop rates are in this, is they really should be separating both the Void Power chests, not Void Power, but the Void Waker, Void Walker, whatever you want to call it, that and the Eternal ones. We should really have the option to say, you know what, I'm going to put all my coins and chests into these and really see if I can get the gear that I want. I mean, it's still a 1 in 6 chance after, you know, pulling it 50 times, which, you know, 1%, 0.33%, whatever you want to call it. But it really would be more enjoyable for the player base. I'm seeing a lot of players leave this. I'm seeing it in my views. I'm seeing it in other people's views. People just aren't really caring for the game as much when it first came out. And if they don't make a change fast, I really think that this game is just going to tank hard. And they're just going to be going, well, you know, do like they did with Archero. Well, let's just try to throw more stuff at it, which is just going to ruin the player base for anybody that's continuing to play it. They're going to go, okay, there's just way too much garbage inside this game. But that's just my thought on it. I'm sure there's a million ways to make this more enjoyable. Hopefully they do something. Hopefully we don't keep on losing players. But at any rate, you know, I even feel it myself. I get bored playing chapters. There's not really a lot of crazy things. Ender's Echoes, we talked about that yesterday. It's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to go in, do my dailies, and just, you know, wait for an event. Maybe I'll get some S-grade equipment out of it. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully they make changes. But as far as this chapter itself, first time I went in with a light chaser just like this. And there was a couple of times where I was like, oh, geez, that was stupid of me. But still, I mainly built around originally drones, rocket, lightning mare, the things that I really would go for. And I did get Guardian the first run too, but Guardian is something that I tend to go for, and I picked it this one because I was seeing projectiles coming out and it does help out. I wasn't so focused on getting the HE fuel in the beginning to get that extra range on it. I more want to just get the, you know, the actual blocking of things. It's not going to keep the bears away from you, and you see the bears out already right there. Now, as far as the things that I decided to go in place of what I got the first time, you see the soccer ball. I'm going for that. I was going to try to get brick, but I kind of filled things up. So soccer ball, Guardian, those were kind of the main priorities. I tried to get those evoed fast, and obviously get my light chaser evo too. We did pick up the drones later, but you'll see as the video goes on, there was times where I had the option to pick the drones, and I would always pick the drones first before I started picking some of that other stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to grab an extra Guardian. I'm going to grab an extra soccer ball. I really want to make sure I can keep these enemies away, because you know when you see bears, you know you're going to get those bears later on that, you know, they die and then they spawn the baby bear, which just makes it a complete nightmare. Now, 2-minute mark, you saw the elite there. Nothing to worry about at all. But the other thing I am doing is you see me leaving a lot of bombs out there. We do need a bomb farm on this. At least I did on it. It definitely is a big help. And, you know, after going and fusing the Trinity Charm and the Army Gloves, we're sitting at like 36.5 or so. So we have a decent amount of attack. And I didn't have that when I beat 73. So there is a good jump between 73, 74, I think. But, you know, that's a nice start right there. 3 bombs sitting in a row. Later, I think I had 4 of them in a row. I had a couple of... I had a lot of bombs from bomb farming. If you're not familiar with bomb farming, we got a video out there somewhere. Just type in survivor.io bomb farming. But to break it down for you, run all the way down where you can't see the chest anymore. See a chest, defeat it, go back up, see another chest, and just kind of go up and down on it just until you can get a good amount of stuff. Now, I do try to get the coins out of the way. I didn't really focus too much on this time, but I, for some reason, have this myth that, hey, if I get rid of these coins on the screen, maybe there's a chance it'll pop up some good stuff in those spots. But like I said, it's just kind of a myth, and it's just something that I do. But pretty much should be smooth sailing for you up to the 5-minute mark where we have the crystal worm, or I call him the gem scorpion, gem snail, gem whatever, emerald, blah, blah, blah. And you can see here, I mean, this is first boss, and it's taking a good amount of time to drop him down. Having the light chaser is going to get rid of some of those projectiles that he launches out, but you see there, poison, that's a big thing to watch out for. I did take some hits the first run going through. It's nothing that's going to be a one-shot, but you take 3 or 4 of these things, and it will get you down to that point where, you know, you either proc your, you know, last final hit, leaves you with 1 hit point. So just be careful on that. But as you can see, 5-minute mark, this is where we really start getting in tankiness on this. And there's a good amount of biofuel you can get from it. So really utilize this time to kind of just fill up on whatever you're going for. Like I said, I went for Guardian, I went for Soccer Ball. Later, once I evoed the actual drones, I then picked up the drill, and then I got that evoed. But pretty much had a pretty good run here with the things. I think I even pulled a 5 from the chest. So 5 abilities, that is. So things were kind of working in favor for me. But like I said, this was only the second run. It wasn't anything like, oh my god, I had to play this, you know, it wasn't a 46. I didn't have to play this 14, 15 times just to beat it. But as I said, 36, you know, we're maybe a little bit overpowered for it, but it didn't really feel that way going in. I mean, it felt like it was a good balance for me. I know there's probably people that are going to post in the comments, oh yeah, I beat this, you know, with, you know, 19k on it or whatever. And that's awesome. That's great. But for me, in my play style, I never really consider myself like a pro player at survivor.io or really any game. I always kind of compare myself as, you know, there's this 50% mark, and I'm just a little bit above, you know, the average player, I think. So keep in mind, you know, you see me play these things, you may think I'm good, but I'm only really showing you my wins. You never really see me lose on things. And as I said, we're kind of overpowered, so it's going to make it pretty easy for me to go through and win on it. But when the 7-minute mark comes out, that's where we're going to start running into some bears, and they slowly trickle in a little bit, but then next thing you know, it's like, all right, I'm not killing these things fast enough for them to go away, and they do just kind of start swarming out. So as I said, keep some of the bombs around. It's a good point to grab at least 1 bomb or even maybe 2 of them. Even at the 9-minute mark, I know when we're bomb farming, we like to save those for the 11, 12, and 13, but it can help out for you at the 9-minute mark. There's a lot of times where I was just kind of playing carelessly and, you know, did something stupid, lost that first death, and it's not a good feeling, especially when you need those lives towards the end. So I was wrong on it there. The 9-minute mark, that is going to be the bird, and it drops pretty quick. So you don't necessarily need to save the actual bombs for the 9-minute mark. Now when it comes to the 10-minute mark, it's going to be Sapper Worm B. Still don't really know big difference between that and the other Sapper Worm, but it's going to be one of those things where you're in a tight quarter area and these can hurt you. Usually about 2 shots was taking me down on it, so even maybe 3 sometimes. But I usually try to kind of just stick to one corner or so and just, you know, stand still, do my dodgings of the blues, and then if I see the pinks coming at me, just kind of move up and down a little bit or to left or right. But for some reason, both of these runs, this was just kind of beating the crap out of me. I died on it twice, you know. On the first time I died once, and then on this time I died once. So let's see, 1 hit there, a 2nd hit. So yeah, pretty much about 3 hits you're going to be able to take from this. Luckily we had that still, you know, last 1 hit point, you know, killing hit won't destroy you, but still got me right there. So I think I'm just bad at this boss. Either way though, just know it's going to be a tight quarter. So that's where I was kind of glad that I got the drones leveled up, but still tanky boss. You don't want to spend too much time with him. So that's about the best advice I can get, is just kind of hang out in a corner and dodge on it. But you see here, going right in at the 10-minute mark, we're already blasted with bears. And I did grab the magnet on this because, not the magnet on the side, but the actual magnet ability. I didn't really have a lot of good choices. And I said, you know what? It can't hurt to have this thing. It actually paid off towards the end and really is kind of helpful. But we're just going to sit here with these 2 bombs. Once it gets a little bit too crazy or that 11-minute mark hits, we'll just go over, grab both of those, and just kind of clear out, and then try to focus on the elite just to get them out of that way. Because I find a lot of times if we don't have the bombs, we don't clear them out, you don't even see that elite coming until they just start jamming into you, and it's like, oh, they've already taken you down to a trickle, you're not left too much, and then it just puts you in a bad situation. So we are going to grab the actual ammo thruster there for the drill, which should help out with the soccer balls too. But here we go, coming up on 11-minute mark, and I just want to say, it's not like the elite is anything bad, it's just the combination of the elite with the mob. So there's the bombs right there, and apparently there's a magnet there that kind of worked out good for us. And I think this is just maybe one of the cucumber guys, or it's either going to be a cucumber guy or it's going to be one of the birds. So it looks like it was the cucumber guy on it there, which, like I said, we got the bombs cleared out. You could barely see it on the big screen, but you could see it on the little one. It wasn't anything that really popped up right away, but, you know, draw pretty quick. And then you're just going to kind of sit here. I find it's better not really to move at all. These wolves aren't anything really, you know, too tanky. Yes, they do have some tankiness to them, but it's also a good source of biofuel. So I find, you know, I'm just going to camp out because we got bombs sitting right here. Should be good to go, and we'll wait for the 12-minute elite to come out. So this one can be a little bit trickier because this is going to be one of the birds, so definitely have the bombs there. If you don't have the bombs, this thing just kind of sneaks up right on you and just jabs right into you. I said earlier in the other video that it was one of those things where, like, oh, this bird isn't anything really too crazy. You know, all it does is just run right into you. But that's enough to really screw you up when you have a whole bunch of bears around you. So keep that in mind. Do the bomb farming, should be good to go. But 13-minute mark, I'm just going to kind of go through and start grabbing whatever bombs I can until I can get this elite out of the way. It is going to be another one of those cucumber construction worker type guys. So he's going to come down from top. You can see it on the small little screen there. But once again, nothing to worry about. He is going to take a little bit longer to kill than the ones from earlier. So keep that in mind. But just work your way away from him. Get some bombs. Let the drones do the rest and should be easy peasy. But from here, once you get rid of him, or even if he sticks around a little bit longer like you see me doing, I think it's like 13:30 before I actually kill him there. But we're going to start getting those bears creeping in, and those are going to be the ones that spawn the smaller bear when you kill him. So just keep that in mind that, you know, it's going to have a little red blob that pops up underneath you. And even, you know, keeping my distance from them, there were still times where they were pretty close. So I was trying not to move too much, at least until maybe the 14-minute mark, where it was more of the actual wolves inside it. But you see, we got pretty decent range right now where it's not really doing too much trouble. But in the first run, it just seemed like whenever I killed one bear, that thing was like right next to me where the mini bear popped up. So be cautious of that. And going into the 15-minute mark, it's going to be the mutant mayor. And as you know, that's pretty much the reason why I died on him. But big thing right there, he's going to go and kind of, instead of launching poison, just launch a bunch of grenades. And it's going to be those bullets, as you see right there, me dying to it. It's the bullets that are the biggest pain. I try to stick to the wall to get away from it, but there's just so little room to dodge things in this. And you got to keep on moving because he's either going to do the dash, he's going to do the jump, he's going to do the grenade things. So I think I pretty much got lucky on this and just kind of passed it by the skin of my teeth. You see it right here. Bam, he's done. But really curious to know what you guys think about the whole Tsukiyomi and catnips thing. And also, you know, should we have our S-grade chests separated like they were before? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, join the Discord, and remember, I pick my butt.